everybody is going through the same shit. Whether you're the CEO or the janitor, we're all going through the same stuff. So I just try to give people hope, let them know whatever you're going through, you don't have to stay here. You can move on. Like at the end of every episode I tell everybody, you have the choice every day when you wake up. You could be a victor or a victim. It's your choice every day. So my goal is just to let people know that you don't have to be a victim of your past, but you could be the victor of your present and your future.
Welcome to the 7 Eagle Group podcast, your home for inspiring stories, valuable tips, and great advice from hard-charging veterans so you can lead a more rewarding and lucrative post-military career.
All right, today I am talking with one of our community's top podcaster. I mean, this guy is an enormous personality and just a great guy who cares so much for this military community. Spent 23 years in the Army, in the National Guard. He's a tank commander, 11 Bravo, and then 19 Delta. So a long and storied career in our military. And now he has just dedicated his career, his life to helping others. He loves this veteran community and first responders. He's done over 1,300 episodes on his podcast. He's a #1 best-selling book author with the podcast Blueprint, and just an amazing guy. So I'm just so honored today to talk with Richard, the comeback coach Kaufman out of Jersey.
Thank my brother. Thank you for having me on. I'm so grateful to be able to hang out and chat with you, and I'm just humbled to be able to be on your amazing show.
Oh, well, thank you, man. You get to sit in the other seat this time, so we get to question you, and I want to share your story because it's a great one, and others need to hear it. So let's start at the beginning. Where'd you grow up? What made you decide to join the military? What was that experience like for you?
Well, I'm a street kid from Jersey. Still have the attitude. I think I still have that little Italian Guido attitude. I grew up. I grew up in a rough life. Mom was an addict. Dad left by 3 months old. I had my first drink at 11, and I was a full-blown alcoholic by age of 13. Got thrown out of high school for hitting a teacher in the head with a desk. So it was either jail or the military. And unfortunately, I did both. I joined the military and went to jail. Got thrown out of the military, and I'm sure we'll go back. I'm giving you the Cliff Note version.
Yeah.
Got thrown out of the military for being an addict. Got back in again after almost going to jail for 5 years and getting sober. Almost got thrown out again for a second time, but 9/11 turns my whole life around and changed my world. And then I did 23 years total. Like we talked about earlier, I was going to do 30. I got my head run over by a up armored Humvee and lost my vision. So you can't see, you can't shoot. We don't need you. Medically discharged me Labor Day 2012, and that was the same day that I attempted suicide.
Oh my God.
Thank God it didn't go through. After that is when I got help, and I decided, well, if I'm struggling, there's got to be other people out there like me. So I started a podcast and met a guy named Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He came up with the comeback coach. He told me to write a book. He told me about the podcast. So if it wasn't for Mr. Gary V, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And now, 12 years later, 3-time best-selling author, speaker. But I just tell everybody, like we talked earlier, I'm just a junkie who got lucky, and I'm just a guy who knows a guy. So now I just try to give hope to, let people know that, your past does not dictate your future. And just because once you hang up your uniform, there's another mission out there for you. And that's my goal now, is to help people find their mission after they hang up the uniform for that last time.
Yeah. Well, that nickname certainly fits you, man. And I love stories like yours where you get knocked down time after time and you just keep getting up and fighting. And How did you get through some of those situations? I mean, what got you back up on your feet? Were there people helping you? Were you on your own? What was that?
Oh, I'm too dumb to quit. And I think that's going to be my new book. I'm going to write a new book called Too Dumb to Quit. I don't give up. If you tell me that I can't do something, I'm going to do it and take pictures and send it to. Um, but I've also had a lot of great mentors in my life. And unfortunately now most of them are gone, but I wish I would have listened to them more growing up. But they say if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, build a team.
Mm.
And I have a great team beside me, including my friends, my amigos, and my bride. So no man that's ever successful ever does it alone.
Yeah, that's great advice. I like that. What were some of the best lessons you learned from serving? Like, how did that make you into a better man?
Well, I get, I mean, I got in a lot of trouble when I was in the military. I mean, I have 8 Article 15s, 2 field grade Article 15s. So I was the trouble guy until I got promoted, eventually became Soldier of the Year and became a non-commissioned officer. And when I first read that, the NCO creed, I really took it to heart. And that's when I decided, that started to put others before myself. And even today, even like if I take my wife and my kids out for dinner, I won't even eat before the rest of the whole family's eating.
Hmm.
When I'm with my family and we walk anywhere, I'm always behind them to make sure that they're taken care of and they're safe before I am. So I think that's what I learned the most of is, you always put others before yourself. Make sure your people eat before you eat.
Hmm.
And I still think about that today. If you're a business owner and if your employees aren't eating as good as you are, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, good for you. So talk a little bit about what you did after 2012. I know you had some stints. You were helping out with Amazon and Spotify. Talk a little bit about what was that transition? It sounded like it was brutally hard for you, the transition, but how'd you get through that and get back on
Well,
your
what happened was, this whole time I was in the National Guard, I was with GNC. I did over 30 years with General Nutrition Center. So I started a podcast probably around 2010, but it was just reviewing products. Like I would try this Celsius energy drink and I do an honest review on it. And I'd be like, hey guys, product tastes great. Doesn't work, works like shit, but it tastes great. So I started a podcast just doing that. Um, and then when I lost my vision and I got medically discharged, I literally sat on my couch for 18 months
Oh man.
because I was 80% blind.
Ugh.
And I just sat in a couch and just did nothing for 18 months until my friend said, hey, you're the comeback coach. It's time for you to come back.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to come back. I'm like, what do? I can't see. I can't drive. So all I could see was my little phone, and I had the uh, iPhone back then, and I still have it now. Different one though. So I started doing audio podcasts again, because I didn't have to do much. I didn't have to see my wife. We just hit the buttons, and
Hmm.
I could do a podcast. And the first guy I interviewed, he was a guy that he had no arms, no legs, because he lost them in Iraq. But he was sitting in Aspen in a jacuzzi because he just got done skiing with his family for the day.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going, okay, I have my limbs, I don't have my vision, but if he can go skiing in Aspen with no legs and no arms, he's living his life to the fullest. Maybe I need to find out secrets of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole resiliency thing came in. All right, let's find out people that have struggles. How did they get through them and how do they make it through the other side? And then that's how the podcast started from there, and it's just grown from that point on.
1,300 episodes. Wow. You
I got six on Wednesday.
6 in one.
Hour and a half episodes on Wednesday, 6 hour-and-a-half episodes.
Oh my Lord. How is your vision today? Is it the same? Is it getting worse?
It's probably around maybe 60%. Blind in one eye, and I got about 60% in the other.
16. The doctors have been able to help a little bit. And
Yeah, I've been through like 8 surgeries. I still got to wear these Mr. Magoo glasses whenever I read, so I
Yeah.
can see anything.
yeah.
Thank God for that. I mean, if that's
Yeah.
the worst case scenario, all right, I'm doing pretty good.
Talk a little bit about the podcast. And I know you interview and share stories of a whole wide variety of people, but talk a little bit about some of the different topics you get into and what you discuss.
Well, I've had, Robert Kiyosaki, Sharon Lechter from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Had David Meltzer on. I've had Mr. Kanan. He's going to be on this year's episode of Cobra Kai. He was the bad guy in Cobra Kai 3. So I've had a lot of different people, from athletes to authors, doctors, anybody that has an interesting story, because a lot of people don't know that Robert Kiyosaki was a helicopter pilot who was shot down twice in Vietnam.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that Sharon Lechter lost her son to the 22 because he was a Marine and he took his life.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneurs on Fire was an army captain in Iraq that lost a tank crew, and he almost committed suicide because of depression and anxiety. So for me, everybody is going through the same shit.
Yeah.
Whether you're the CEO or the janitor, we're all going through the same stuff. So I just try to give people hope, to let them know whatever you're going through, you don't have to stay here. You can move on. Like at the end of every episode I tell everybody, you have the choice every day when you wake up. You could be a victor or a victim. It's your choice every day.
Yeah.
So my goal is just to let people know that you don't have to be a victim of your past, but you could be the victor of your present and your future.
Yeah. What any of your past episodes really stand out in your mind as some of your favorites?
David Meltzer, he's got a $20 billion company. If you don't know him, if you've ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire, they actually wrote a movie about him. And he taught me how to, if you want to be successful in life, make sure that you schedule everything out, including talking to your mom, calling your kids every day. Make sure that everything you do, you schedule. Make sure your schedule is written down, but make sure it's flexible. But if you don't rule your schedule is going to rule you. So that was one thing. I had a gentleman named Rich Ddiscuss. He wrote the books called The Attributes. He was a Navy SEAL commander. He taught me that to live by the 3-minute rule. If I fail at something, I can get depressed for 3 minutes, and then I got to move the fuck on.
I like that.
If I succeed at something, I can celebrate for 3 minutes.
3 minutes still.
Then I got to move the fuck on.
Yeah.
Because, if it's not going to bother me 5 years, 10 years down the road, why am I going to let it take 5 minutes of my time now?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's good. I like that advice. What talk a little bit about what are some of your plans for the future of the podcast? What do you hope to do? Are there people you want to interview who you haven't?
Well, right now, Joe Rogan's in my sights.
Nice.
I've rank up there with Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss, Dean Graziosi. So, but now, Rogan is up there, and I'm not up there yet. So that's my goal. But my goal is to save one life.
Yeah.
If I can save one life, then everything I do serves its purpose. Because if I can save one life, that means I literally change the world.
Yeah.
And I do everything. I live by what Gary taught me. Because when I was leaving his office that day, I said, Gary, give me something. I said, give me a nugget, that I could take for the rest of my life. And he said, Rich, your legacy is more valuable than your currency.
Hmm.
So now everything I do is for legacy. Everything I do is to change the world. You know, doesn't matter how much money I have, it doesn't matter the cars I drive, the vacations I take, but it's what are my kids going to say to me, or what are strangers going to say to me, say to my wife at my funeral.
Yeah. Well,
And, you know, for me, and, you know, I live for my legacy every day, and not in an arrogant way. But, you know, I believe that, you know, we're here to make a change. We're here to change the world, to leave the world a better place
yeah.
than when we first got here.
Well, something
So-
tells me with 1,300 podcasts in your rearview mirror, you've helped a lot of people, not only
But, you
veterans,
know,
people
but the
outside.
scary thing is, and I talked about this all the time, and I almost took my life about 6 weeks ago
No, no.
again. But the only thing that saved me is the week before I actually wrote my own obituary, and I kept it in my wallet. And if I didn't write my obituary and remember that it was in my wallet, I probably would have took my life.
Ah,
So it's not the hundreds of thousands of people that I helped that I think about. It's the 3 people that I couldn't help
good, man.
that haunts me. And I think if you're a person, even like Michael Jordan, he doesn't talk about his 6 championships. He talks about the 9,000 shots he missed.
Right.
So for me, you know, and it's the 3 that keeps me going to help the next 1.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying about the millions of downloads. I think we're at almost 3 million downloads. It's not bad. It's just the one. I'm trying to help that one person. So I don't ever have to say, yeah, now there's 4,
Right. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, but other than that, you know, I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying life. I just got back from a cruise, which was awesome.
Where'd you go?
So we went to the Bahamas, and my wife booked another cruise to the Bahamas. So we're going to go to in November, going to the Bahamas for a week.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And for me, you know, coming from where I come from, I'm a 9th grade dropout.
Wow.
I don't have a GED. I shouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for God. You know, he does it all. But we went on a cruise, and I'm eating steak and lobster tail every night. I shouldn't be able to do stuff like that. But that's why I say that your past doesn't dictate your future.
Right. Well, you
If
do.
I can do it, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm a 9th grade dropout, but I've read over 6,000 books.
Wow.
I got 18 books and 3 audiobooks going right now.
Oh,
And I'm 55.
yeah, yeah.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
What advice would you have, Rich, for business owners who have never hired military veteran before? What does a vet bring to the table for that business?
And I'm actually working with a friend of mine. His name is Mr. David Nordell. We're helping companies get vet ready. And what we talk about is how even if a veteran, and I hate to say the word only, right? Because I hate that word, but say a veteran does 4 years in the military. The military will spend up to $100,000 a year on that veteran to teach him leadership.
Yeah.
So even if a gentleman or a girl done 4 years, that's $400,000 in leadership training that they have. And if you hire a veteran, normally, not all the time, but normally they're going to get there early. They're going to stay late. They're going to look good. And if you lock 10 veterans in a room and say, listen, we got a problem, nobody walks out of here till the problem is solved. The problem's going to get solved.
Mhm.
One way or another, the problem's going to get solved. I mean, a veteran might say, all right, we're going to build a bridge first, and then we'll give you the plans later. But veterans get shit done.
Yeah.
And we know about mission. And and normally if a veteran gets in a company and they feel comfortable and they feel appreciated, they're not going anywhere. So your turnover rate and your retention rate is going to be awesome. And then if I know this company is very great for veterans, I'm going to bring my buddies in.
Yeah. Everyone wins.
So, I mean, but we also think differently. Veterans and first responders, we're very mission focused. There's not a lot of gray area. A lot of it's black and it's white. So you have to make certain exceptions for veterans, because a lot of us deal with, like me with PTSD and a traumatic brain injury. A lot of us are dealing with shit that the average person doesn't have. So sometimes you have to learn to deal with other things that you normally don't have to deal with in the civilian sector.
Yeah. That's what makes you such a great candidate on the civilian side, though, is you have had all these experiences and that attitude. One thing you didn't mention, which is, you to a T, is the resilience, that toughness, that grit, getting knocked down and keep on fighting. What advice would you have, Rich, for transitioning service members? We work with a lot of men and women who are, whether they've served 4 years or 20 years, who are now getting ready for this often very confusing and anxiety-ridden chapter of what next, what would you say to them to give them hope in their civilian side?
Well, and it's something I talk about on my show all the time. And like my friend Sergeant Nick talked about when I had him on the show, he's like, guys, and whoever's listening to this, once you get out of the military doesn't give a shit about you. Your phone's going to stop ringing. You're not going to have the camaraderie. Most of the time, you're not going to have a paycheck, and you're not going to have a mission. So that's pretty much the 4 things that are pretty much guaranteed going to happen. So as long as you prepare for that, you should be preparing 1.5 to 2 years before you get out.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, if you know you're going to get out in 1.5 years, I would get off the computer today. I would sign up for LinkedIn, because you get LinkedIn Premium for free if you're a veteran for a year. And 90% of the time, they forget to shut it off. I've had LinkedIn Premium for like 8 years. So, and you can take as many classes and courses as you want. So make sure that you're on LinkedIn and you're building relationships before you get out of the military. Like, say if you like NASCAR, create a profile on LinkedIn, start following all the NASCAR teams, start following all the drivers, start following all the mechanics. And this way you start knowing, people start seeing your name, and you're like, hey, I live in North Carolina and I love NASCAR. You might be able to get a chance to meet some of these guys and start creating connections. LinkedIn is the best thing for creating connections.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, like, well, what about Facebook? Facebook is great, but the average user on Facebook, their annual salary is $40,000. The average annual salary on LinkedIn is $140,000.
Well,
so you want to go where the money's at,
right?
Because this way you want to go where people are looking for jobs. They're looking for veterans. That's where you want to go if you want to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's spot on. What? Tell everyone where they can find your podcasts. Are you on Apple and
we're on 35 different platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, Flickr, TikTok, Spotify, Amazon. We're on every single platform. All they got to do is look up Vertical Momentum, and we're on every single platform. It's always me. I don't have a admin. I don't have a VA.
Yeah.
So if you reach out to me on any platform, it's always me, and you're never going to get any spam crap because it's always me, and I'm all about building relationships. So if you ever want to reach out on any of the platforms, just DM me. You're going to get me. I'm a goofy guy. The same guy you see here, the same guy you see out on the streets. So if you just stop in to say hi, say, hey, Rich, how you doing? And I answer every DM.
Hey, that is awesome. Rich, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of you coming on and taking time and how you've dedicated your life to this amazing community. I mean, you have an amazing story. I love how you triumphed over all these tough times and these hurdles, all this shit that's been thrown at you over the years, and you bounce back, but and you always keep that focus on helping others. And you're an impressive person, and truly an honor to meet you today. And hopefully we can keep in touch. And
Can I offer something to your readers? To your
yeah,
listeners?
fire away, man. Go ahead.
If they can have my first book, #1 bestseller. If you want the book for free, just send your email address to me. You get the email, write your email. No charge, no, nothing. I just want to help you out. And there's anybody out there that's struggling in life or business, and they're listeners of yours, they get an hour of my time, whether they want to talk on StreamYard or on the phone or through Zoom, they get an hour of my time whenever they want. So any way I can help your listeners or you, I give my time away for free because I'm just trying to help as many people until I get off of this blue rock.
Hey, you are definitely doing that, man, helping people and leaving your mark on this community. And again, I thank you for everything you're doing. You're truly an amazing guy. And please, anyone, check out his podcast, learn from this great man, and take him up on that offer. Connect with him. He's someone who can definitely help anybody's career. So, Richard,
Now, can I say something to your audience for you?
Yeah, go,
guys, make sure that when you log off here, make sure you subscribe to this amazing podcast. Make sure you leave a 5-star written review, because each written review is equal to 10-star reviews.
Wow, I didn't
So
know
make
that.
sure you leave a review, leave a comment, just to let this gentleman know that he's doing an amazing job. And in this way, he actually can be able to help more people by being kicked up in the algorithm because you left a written review for this amazing show.
Hey, thank you, buddy. The comeback coach. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Rich. Appreciate you.
God bless, brother.
Take care.